A traveler shows up at the airport, same passport, same ticket, but this time they're stopped. No warning, no explanation, just you can't board. They didn't break the law, they didn't miss their flight, but in 2026, that doesn't matter anymore. Because new airport rules are quietly stopping travelers every single day, and most people don't even know they exist. At first, it sounds like a mistake, something that only happens once in a while. But then it happens again and again. Different airports, different countries, same confusion. You might think, if I have my ID and my ticket, I'm fine. But that's exactly what these travelers thought too. And that's where the problem begins. Because in 2026, airports didn't just change the rules, they changed how the rules are applied. Some people walk through security in minutes. Others get pulled aside, questioned, delayed, or worse, turned away completely. No clear reason, no clear pattern. And here's where it gets even more confusing. Two people can show up with the same documents on the same flight, and only one of them makes it through. So what's really going on inside airports right now? And why are so many travelers only finding out the truth when it's already too late? It starts with something simple: your ID. You might think your driver's license is enough. It always has been. But in 2026, that assumption is getting people stopped. Across airports, travelers are reaching security, handing over their ID, and being told it's no longer valid for boarding. No warning, no second chance, just a delay or worse, a missed flight. Because now not all IDs are treated the same. Some require extra verification. Others are quietly rejected if they don't meet new standards. And here's the part most people don't see coming. Even if your ID looks fine, even if it worked the last time you traveled, that doesn't mean it will work today. In some cases, travelers are being pulled aside, asked additional questions, or forced to go through a manual identity check just to continue. And while that's happening, the clock is ticking on your flight. But it doesn't stop there, because even when people manage to prove who they are, some are being delayed long enough to miss boarding completely, all because of a rule they didn't even know had changed. And if you think this only affects a few people, think again. This is becoming more common, more unpredictable, and harder to avoid. But here's where it gets worse, because in some airports now, you might not even need an ID at all. And that sounds like a good thing, until you realize what's replacing it. At some airports now, you don't even show your ID anymore. You just walk up, look at a camera, and within seconds, you're cleared to go. No documents, no questions. It feels faster, easier, almost effortless. But here's the problem. You think this makes travel simpler, but now everything depends on one thing: whether the system recognizes you. And when it doesn't, everything stops. Travelers are stepping up to these scanners expecting a quick check, but instead they're flagged. No match found. Suddenly they're pulled aside, checked again, questioned. And the line behind them keeps moving while they're stuck trying to prove who they are. Because in this system, if your face doesn't match, it's like you don't exist. And here's where it gets even more confusing. Not every airport uses the same system. Not every airline follows the same process. So one trip feels smooth, and the next feels like a completely different world. You might pass through one airport without showing anything, but at the next, you're expected to provide documents you didn't even bring. And that's where people get caught, because they rely on what worked before, not realizing the rules have already changed. But if you think identity checks are the biggest problem, wait until you see what's happening to something even more basic: the things inside your bag. You think you already know the liquid rules: small bottles, clear bag, nothing over the limit, simple, predictable. But in 2026, that's no longer true, because some airports have started removing those limits completely. You can carry full-size liquids, no problem, no extra checks, no questions. So travelers adapt. They pack differently. They stop worrying about it. And that's where the trap is set. Because what works at one airport can fail instantly at another. People are flying out with no issues, only to be stopped on their return trip. Same bag, same items, but this time everything gets pulled out, confiscated, thrown away. No explanation beyond different airport, different rules. And suddenly what felt normal becomes a mistake. You might think, I'll just follow the standard rules to be safe. But even that doesn't guarantee anything anymore. Because enforcement isn't just changing, it's inconsistent. Some security lines wave things through, others stop you for the smallest detail. And the worst part, you don't know which version of the rule you'll face until it's already too late. But if losing a few items sounds like the worst case scenario, it's not. Because what's happening next isn't about what's in your bag, it's about the bag itself.
You think your carry-on is fine. It fits in the overhead, it closes without a struggle. It's what you've always brought. But in 2026, that's no longer enough. Airlines are cracking down aggressively. Gate agents are weighing bags, measuring dimensions, and enforcing limits, sometimes mid-boarding. People are walking up thinking they're okay, only to be stopped and told, your bag doesn't meet our requirements. And here's the kicker. The rules aren't consistent. One airline will allow a bag, the next gate could reject the exact same bag. Travelers have been forced to check their carry-ons unexpectedly, pay fees they weren't prepared for, miss boarding entirely. All because a rule was quietly updated or interpreted differently at a different airport. You might assume, if I follow the published rules, I'll be fine. Wrong. Because in 2026, the published rules are just guidelines. What matters is what the agent decides at that exact moment. And even if you do everything right, there's still no guarantee. Some travelers have started carrying multiple bags, just in case. Others avoid certain airlines entirely. But here's where it gets worse. Because carry-on enforcement isn't the only thing catching people off guard. Even the devices you bring on board, the things you rely on, are under strict new scrutiny. Next, you'll see how power banks and batteries have become one of the sneakiest travel traps yet. You probably didn't think twice about bringing your power bank. It's small, it fits in your bag, and it keeps your devices charged during a long flight. But in 2026, batteries have become a hidden airport trap. Airlines are enforcing strict limits on battery size, quantity, whether they go in carry-on or checked luggage. Travelers who ignore these subtle updates are finding their devices confiscated, sometimes at the gate, sometimes even at security. You think you're prepared, but what works on one airline may be a problem on the next. People are walking through with the same bag they used on previous flights, only to be stopped because the battery exceeds a new limit or wasn't declared properly. And the consequences can be immediate. Gateside confiscation, delayed boarding, missed flights, extra fees. Some travelers try to hide them, only to be caught during random checks. And the scariest part? Rules are constantly changing without clear announcements. Some airports allow one battery, others reject it. Some require batteries in hand luggage, others prohibit them altogether. So even if you follow the rules you think exist, you could still be caught off guard. And just when you think it can't get worse, airports are introducing automation and facial recognition systems that can throw everything into chaos. Next, you'll see how technology that promises speed is actually slowing travelers down in the most unexpected ways. At first glance, airport automation seems like a dream. Facial recognition gates, touchless check-ins, faster security lines. You might think, finally, flying will be stress-free. But in 2026, it's creating more chaos than convenience. Travelers are stepping up to these machines expecting a smooth process, only to be flagged, delayed, or sent back to human agents. And it's not consistent. One airport system will recognize you instantly, another will fail completely. Even your previous trips don't guarantee a pass. Some travelers wait hours trying to fix a system error. Others get denied boarding entirely because the automation doesn't match their documents. And it's not just the machines. Staff shortages across airports are making it worse. Lines grow longer, delays cascade, flights get missed. People are learning the hard way. Technology isn't a guarantee. It's another variable in an unpredictable system. You might think, if I just arrive early, I'll be fine. But even that strategy fails when machines stop working, or the rules at that airport suddenly change. And here's the harsh truth. The scariest part isn't even the technology itself. It's how inconsistently it's applied. Rules shift from airport to airport, day to day, and travelers are left trying to adapt, sometimes too late. Next, you'll see how all these issues combine into a system that feels completely broken, where even the smallest mistake can cost you your flight. By now, you might think, I can follow the rules. I'll double-check everything. I'll be safe. But in 2026, that isn't enough. Airports have become unpredictable. Rules shift silently. Technology can fail at any moment, and staff shortages only make matters worse. Travelers are missing flights, not because they're late, not because they forgot something, but because the rules changed without warning. A bag that was allowed yesterday might be rejected today. A power bank that worked on one flight could be confiscated on the next. Your face that scanned perfectly before might not be recognized this time. And no one can tell you in advance which airports, which gates, or which staff will enforce which rules. It's a system built for efficiency, but executed inconsistently. A system where even the smallest mistake can cost you time, money, or your trip entirely. So what can you do? You can prepare, you can double-check documents, you can measure your bags, declare your devices, and arrive early. But the truth is, in 2026, you're never truly in control. Because the next traveler stopped at the airport could be you. And by the time you realize what went wrong, it might already be too late.